This conference will now be recorded.
Great, thank you. All right, commissioners, staff, and citizens, since it's a remote meeting, some initial comments are appropriate. As required by the governor's March 24th proclamation, the Lake Stevens Sewer District is holding its commissioner meetings remotely using the GoToMeeting platform. While this is not our norm, we're glad to be able to ensure continuity of business operations. Members of the public who are participating, we're very grateful for your support and patience while we work through this interim way of doing business. Members of the public have been invited to join via virtual meeting format of GoToMeeting. The public comment section of our agenda will be handled in the following way. First, comments or questions that were emailed to the Sewer District customer service or otherwise received sufficiently in advance of the meeting will be read during public forum. Second, during the meeting, anyone wishing to comment during public forum may use the chat box feature and you'll be provided with the opportunity to comment. Board members, we're going to take attendance by calling your name, and then please indicate whether or not you can clearly hear me and others on the line. We need to do our best to speak one person at a time so that our note taker can take minutes. So attendance-wise, Commissioner Koshy is
Hear you loud and clear.
And Commissioner Lorenzen.
Yes, I can hear everybody loud and clear.
Great. Let's start with the pledge then. Great. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Number 3, agenda approval.
Well, hearing no changes, I would go ahead and make a motion to approve the agenda as submitted.
A second.
All in favor? Aye.
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 Great. Consent items A through I.
I'd make a motion that we approve the consent items as stated, A through I.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye.
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 Great. Public forum. Tara, have we received any comments from the public?
We have not.
Okay. Anybody on the line wishing to comment? All right. Seeing none, we'll go to old business. A, the Vernon Business Center improvement change order number 10 in the amount of $13,520.
Okay, well, if there's, I don't know if the general manager is going to speak on that or make any comments about it.
Sorry, John and I didn't talk about that. What we were going to, this was in regards to, oh my gosh, which one was this one for? John, help me on this one. Which one was this one for?
It's for the ventilation.
Oh yes, the ventilation, which is, sorry about that. We've had a few change orders coming our way. The ventilation was changed from the original. We had talked about it. I think I've showed it to a few of you. We're putting it underneath the windows in the boardroom, and we've had to redesign the way that it would go in based on some structural changes and everything that was made. So the change order is the $13,520. And I just need approval for that.
All right. I think you're up, Dan.
I'd make a motion that we approve the Vernon Business Center improvement change order number 10 in the amount of $13,520 and authorize the general manager or designee to sign off on that.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye.
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 Great. Old business B is to consider the recommendation to award the Vernon Business Center paving project to Greco Excavating in the amount of $359,222.58.
I'll take that one. The district accepted 11 bids for the project on July 21st. The bids range from $359 or 359,222.58 to 502,451.85, with an engineer's estimate of 425,285. The district's legal, engineering, and staff reviewed the supplemental bidder information, and it was determined that Gridco has demonstrated that they have the requisite experience as a prime contractor on projects that were similarly scoped to this project. Therefore, district staff recommends award of the Vernon Business Center parking lot paving project to Gridco Excavating for $359,222.58, and they are the lowest responsive bidder.
Okay, well, that was a tongue twister. I would make a motion that we authorize or recommend to, well, we don't recommend, we would award the bid to Gridco Excavating in the amount of $359,222.58 as being the responsive bidder and winning bidder of this, and recommended by staff and legal.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye.
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 Great. C, consider the recommendation to award the Grace Lane Overlay Project to Central Paving LLC in the amount of $51,650.
All right. So the district also accepted bids for this project on July 21st. The district received 4 bids for this project, which ranged from $51,650 to $96,790.50. The engineer's estimate for this project was $86,550. The bids were reviewed by engineering and district staff, and we recommend award of the Grace Lane Overlay Project to Central Paving for $51,650. $51,650 as the lowest responsive bidder.
Thank you.
Just one question, John. Are we done with that project? Are those homes on Grace Lane that were having some septic issues connected now?
We've received 2 permit applications. The applicants are still seeking contractors. They're contractor farming or shopping still. So once they get those in, we will have 2 connections.
Okay.
Commissioner Lorenzen, one of the gentlemen who dropped his off was the gentleman who came to the meeting several months ago when we had just first talked about it. So he's pretty excited. He's got quite a bit of energy behind there. I'm sure he'll get the rest of his neighbors going
He
pretty.
recruited his neighbor too, so.
Yeah, he brought in his neighbor's application as well.
Okay. No, I was just concerned because I know that they have failing systems up there, and those neighbors were having monthly septic pumps, and that got probably quite expensive for them. So I was just trying to see if we finally, everything was approved and they can connect now.
Yes, sir.
Perfect. So
Mr. Bernathy will beat the bushes up there.
excellent. So, okay, I will go ahead and make a motion to award the overlay project to Central Paving LLC in the amount of $51,650 as recommended by staff and legal.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye.
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 Great. So we'll go on to new business, the mid-year budget review.
That one's going to be me. So I'm just going to do an overview of the entire document. I'm not going to go through each line item, just to hit the highlights of it. So if you look at Schedule 1, line number 2, we have reduced our operating revenue by almost $79,000. The reduction is due to the impact of COVID-19 on the businesses and schools. Through July, the average commercial ERUs for 2020 is 684, compared to 866 in 2019. The average for the schools ERUs for through July of 2020 is 80, compared to 180 for 2019. Although the deficit is larger for the commercial and schools, we've had a lot of new residential billings that have been picking up about 40% of the commercial school loss. So that's been helping keeping that operating revenue shortage at a minimum. And if you go to Schedule 1, line number 7, we've reduced the O&M expenses, mostly due to the hiring freeze that we did with COVID-19. We had scheduled 2 FTEs in the budget originally. The only one of them was for the plant, one of them was for the field. We are going to be hiring the treatment plant supervisor, so that changed in the budget from being a 6-month this year to 4 months. We have hired one and they are starting on September 1st. And then if we go to Schedule 1, line number 8, the net operating revenue, I believe that it's going to increase due to the number of the residential ERUs. We have, I think it's 251 to date. So that's over our budget of 179. And they seem to be coming in steadily with the housing that's being built. So with that, we're seeing also seeing an increased trend with the commercial and school revenue since our low point in May. So those have been steadily increasing little by little. So hopefully as people are eating out a little bit more of those restaurants, that commercial use would go up, as well as the opening of some stores. So Schedule 1, line number 13 is our capital. We received 95.7 more connection fees than the original 130 that we budgeted for. So that's an increase. We believe there will still be more coming through the end of the year. Capital costs have increased due to starting 3 of our comp plan projects this year that were scheduled to start next year. So that was 4.2 million of the capital increase costs. Anybody have any questions about Schedule 1 before I move on to Schedule 2?
No.
So Schedule 2 is all of our revenues. We normally take our mid-year actuals and we times them by 2, and we didn't do that this time for our revenues because of the COVID. I still believe that we're going to come in really close to our revenue because of the new residential ERUs that are coming in. Line number 2 on Schedule 2, we left this as the same as the beginning of year budget, although now as of July we've exceeded it with the July permits. Line number 3 and 4 on Schedule 2, we did our normal mid-year actual times 2. Line number 5, we do believe we might have a few more FOG fee credits come in, so we did lower that one just a little bit. Line number 6, we increased that a little bit. We do believe we're going to have one more DEA forfeited deposit that's going to come in because they haven't contacted us for renewing their DEA, which expires at the end of the month. On line number 7, we have incurred some extra legal fees that were not anticipated, so that one went up a little. On line number 8, the mid-year budget shows, the almost 79,000 revenue loss because of the COVID-19 with the schools. So as I said before, I believe that with the new residential ERUs coming in, that will make up for most of that loss. Any questions on that one before we continue? Okay, so Schedule 3 and 3A, that's our debt, and that hasn't changed anything. So those are the same numbers as the beginning of year. Schedule 4, that's our M&O budget, and the decrease on that total is primarily due to those FTEs that we talked about earlier, and the treatment plant supervisor being here for 6 months or 4 months instead of 6. Is there anything on that one that anybody has any questions on specifically?
Nikki, with the debts for Schedule 3, just to be clear, because I know there's been some past super confusion on that one. Can you
Okay.
point out which ones the city actually holds the debt for that we pay them the fees?
Sure.
They can pay it.
Those are so on 3, the line number 3 is the city bonds that they took out some bonds years ago for some sewer work and refinanced them in 2008. Line number 5 also came from the city for some work that they did when they had that loan before we combined. And then we have, let me open up the actual debt schedule itself because I have those highlighted on which ones are the city. Just one moment as I look for them here. Okay. So line number 9, the STP design PW05691 PRE-137. That is a city one for the treatment plant that the city took out on behalf of building the treatment plant. And then line number 11, the STP2 construction PW06-962-020 is one that the city took out on behalf of the new treatment plant. And also line number 13, STP2 construction PC08951-023. That was also taken out to build the new plant.
Thank you for the clarification.
You're welcome. Okay, then Schedule 5 is just the breakdown of the capital projects that we already discussed. The large increase is due to the 3 comprehensive plan projects that were scheduled in 2021 that we moved up this year. We also combined the remaining prior year budget amounts to the mid-year budget amounts to reflect the true budget amounts that we expect to spend, although that number won't necessarily be spent in 2020, go into 2021 and 2022 as these projects are multi-year projects. Are there any questions on that? Okay, so give you a little update with the COVID-19, what we've been tracking. We've been tracking our revenues, our payments, and our delinquencies. Although our revenue is a little under what we originally budgeted, our payments that we've been received from our customers have been above what our budgeted revenue is. I believe that's a lot due to a lot of customers have been paying for 6 months ahead. So we've been paying more than they've been paying ahead on their bills. The 2019 average monthly number of delinquent accounts was 1,383. Currently through July 2020 is coming in at 1,335. So it's a little bit, the number of accounts are less, although the balance is a little higher. So in 2019, as of July 31st, the average monthly delinquent balance was 218,000, whereas 2020 is 215,000. So just a little bit less, but not, I mean, it's so close. So they're really close in numbers. Although we have less delinquents, I think they're carrying a little bit larger balance. The percentage of accounts that are past due as of July in 2019 was 12.06. In 2020, it was 11.96. So the average compared to the total number of accounts that we have is going down. And I went ahead and updated the forecast with the mid-year budget numbers. Looking forward on that, I believe that we can keep our rates at $86 for 2021 without dipping into any of our reserves. We expect the end of year operating reserves to be 2.9 million. which is almost 1.3 million over our 3-month operating reserve. And those are the reserves that we set at the beginning of the year. With the change in the capital projects, moving those ones from 2021 to 2020, we expect the capital reserves to be $3.5 million. Of course, it'll be a little bit different because we won't expend all that capital money this year. Some of it will go into next year. And that is $2 million over our capital reserve policy. Our 2021 parity debt service coverage, after updating with the major budget numbers, the coverage is expected to be 5.23, while our debt service coverage is expected to be 1.37. And the minimum for that is 1.25. So we're looking good there as well. Anybody else have any other questions?
Just one comment, the operating reserve continues to grow, rates continue to remain stable, and this is even in light of the increased debt coverage as we've shortened the term on the bond refinancing.
Correct.
That's awesome. So nice job, appreciate it.
During this time, I'd just like to say that we've gone through the budget, the admin team, the operations, and field, and we did another cut at this budget review of expenses. I just want to really give a shout out to Caitlin, Jeff, Casey, and Jonathan and Brian for, you know, taking a serious look at their budgets and how we could reduce it yet again. You know, this has been a pretty rough time for all of us, and we've been watching everything really carefully. And huge shout out to my customer service team working closely with the customers. Typically, we don't do a lot of, you know, calling all the time on our lien holders. Talked to Mary the other day, and she was calling everybody, and we had 60 liens that we would normally place, and you know, we passed that charge on from the county, and Mary had it down, I believe 15 or 16 that we would end up putting the liens on. There's a lot of value in extraordinary customer service, and my customer service team does a great job. And you know, we've always used to call and we do things, but I think we're just going a little bit above and beyond, and our customers really appreciate, you know, what we are doing. And those customers that are the 15, 16 clients that we put on, they're used to getting liens. Sadly, that's kind of how they operate. That's their MO, and their banks will pay for it. But they still get the same phone call and they still get the same service that normally does. So I want to just really recognize those that are working so hard and so diligently to work in this budget and who are coming here every day. And knock on wood, I pray to God that we continue to all be healthy and everything else. We've been very fortunate the way that we've running this district the last 4 months. So I just want to give shout out where shout out is due to those employees.
Well, and that type of diligence reflects in the numbers, you know, and that's what we, you know, that's what it bubbles up, and it's easy to look at the numbers in a spreadsheet and not recognize, you know, easy to pass over it, not recognize the multitudes of individual efforts that go into making sure rates stay stable, we accelerate our debt, and we continue to increase on the operating reserve. So all that's just fantastic. I appreciate the work.
Commissioner Lowe, if possible, could you forward or have your staff forward the financials to the city? To the email that came out at 7:42 indicated there was financials attached, and there are not.
They were attached to the original invite for the meeting, the one that was sent with the entire agenda packet on Monday. But yeah, we can get those sent again if you need them. But I see it looks
On
like
Monday? No, they weren't.
Yeah, Monday the 10th at 4:55 p.m. I see you on here, Gary, Marcus on here. The whole crew's on this.
The only thing on there is the agenda.
No, the
Scroll
agenda is
all the way down for the packet.
You gotta open the agenda and scroll down.
I'm sorry. Okay, great. Stand corrected. Thank you.
No problem.
no problem. All right, any other questions or comments before we move on? Great. Thank you so much, Nikki, for the report. All right, manager's report, general manager.
Okay, a lot of things are going on. We're keeping pretty busy. John and I met with a new labor attorney yesterday. His name is John Lee. He's also with Summit Law, where Peter came from. So we're just bringing him up to speed. We'll be starting the negotiations here very shortly. I'll be calling Josh to get things started on that. Caitlin has been working diligently on a wastewater treatment plan, emergency plan. Once that is done and solidified, her and I went over the last bit of it last week. She's wrapping that up. We'll start working on one for admin and one for operations. The Vernon Business Center is moving along pretty well. There's a holdup, obviously. They're basically saying that materials are not available. Everything seems to be COVID related. This is where we're going to start seeing an economic impact where materials are not being imported here. Supposedly our tile that goes on the front of the building is not available yet. It's in Georgia, and hopefully it will be sent here by the end of the week is what we're anticipating. And so we just have tile and wood and the stone to go on the front of the building, and then the venting that will be on the interior side of the boardroom. And customer service team is in the customer service area. The carpet has been laid down, the front desk has been put in, and the cabinets where we had to move the wall, we're getting that installed. So it's probably based on that tile, maybe another 2 weeks before it's completely done. The Civic Center update, we are having a meeting today at 3 o'clock to kind of get some more information wrapped up on that. I'm sure Mayor Gailey may have information on that. Yes. I am on vacation next week, but I am always available to my board employees by phone if you need me for anything. Caitlin, Travis, and Jeff and I met with the Snohomish County PUD Energy Consortium on Tuesday to go over the entire treatment plant, to take another look at what are some of the energy efficiencies that are available to us, what we could do, getting a third-party review. Some of those things will be capital improvement projects. Others were suggestions that I believe the wastewater treatment plant will implement. And once Jim starts down there, who is our supervisor, that's something they can work on together. But why it's so important is some of the quotes that they were giving us. And I've asked Mickey to put together a comparison of what we've spent in energy in the past compared to what we're spending today. Because the quotes they gave us is that we were saving up to 18% in savings last year on energy. The window is different because of the time of the year that we had, but it was equal to over 800,000 kilowatt hours. That's money saved for our ratepayers. That's a huge, significant savings, and it didn't cost us that much to make some of the changes. They were happy to see some of the changes that we had done. And I look forward to working with them on some of the other ideas that they have that are a low cost at this point in time. And while I have your attention, I just want to let you know I've heard from Gene at the city, and he did say that decant was awarded on Tuesday night's council meeting to Trinity Construction of Marysville. We're very excited to move forward with that, and John may have some notes from his own meetings on that I don't have. Anyway, that's all I've got.
Great. Assistant Jan.
Sorry about that, trying to work multiple screens. So like Mickey alluded to, we've received 226.7 GFCs this year, 251 permits issued. This week, the district staff has begun CityWorks training, our asset management program, and the training will go through the end of the week. The program where it's at now is a testament to how hard Angeline's been working on it. Staff seem to love it. they're a little taken back by how much the program can do. So looking forward to get it up and running. We should be going live with the program probably by the end of next week once we work out a couple more bugs. And then we'll have some actionable data to give the commission on our operations. So looking forward to that. District staff, a few weeks ago, we solicited for qualifications from engineering firms to put together our 2022 comp plan. The RFQs or the qualifications are due next Monday by 10:30. The primary focus of the request for qualifications, as well as our 2022 comp plan, is going to be treatment plant, looking for recommendations on potential in situ upgrades, taking smaller bites out of the bigger upgrade apple, as well as hopefully being able to provide recommendations on nutrient removal or reduction, since that seems to be a primary focus of ecology these days. So the qualifications are due Monday at 10:30 a.m. and then there's a review period from the 18th to the 26th, and then on the 26th, hopefully we'll be able to send out interview requests to firms that we'd like to talk to, and then interviews from September 7th through 9th if needed. And we anticipate awarding the comp plan project around September 24th. The district did reach out to the city. We shared our RFQ with Russ and Jean, Russ and Jean, and asked that they also be available for review and interviews. And then Aaron Halverson from the city, they forwarded on the bid recommendation for Trinity on our award recommendation for Trinity construction for the decant facility, and the district reviewed the low bid and had no objections to the award. And it just so happens that it was about $100,000 less than the last low bid. So we're about 1.25 million. And that's all I got.
So with the decant facility, when do we think that project might actually be done and like us getting to use it?
So it had a 90-day contract period. So I would say that it'll probably be commissioned probably sometime November.
Okay. And then the City Works training, is Angeline providing that, or is the Timmons group doing that?
It's a shared effort. Timmons group is kind of heading it, and then Angeline and I are at 2 separate locations, and we're supplementing Timmons group. So any questions as far as what the field crew will be doing, Angeline and I are able to provide that input. CityWorks is, our Timmons group is providing kind of the detailed analysis or training.
Great.
It's just the one question to the city. Any concerns from the elected on the approach around the comp plan and the selection of firms? Given that's been a flashpoint before, I want to be crystal clear that we're all lined up and good with the approach.
Yeah. Kevin, I'll respond to that since nobody else is. I appreciate Jonathan reaching out to Russ and Eric and getting that involvement right up front. So hopefully that alleviates things. So appreciate
Awesome.
that.
Great.
I echo what you say, Gary. Great. I'm glad to see the collaboration there.
And the timeline the timeline of the RFQ, the award being on or after the 24th of September should coincide with utility committee meetings. So both city and district staff can come to the utility committee with a recommendation.
Great. Okay, we're on to treatment plant update. Casey.
Operations has a 7-day flow average of 2.4 million gallons a day. The lower dry weather flows present their own unique operational challenges. Process is stable, filterability is good. General information, our bleach usage was creeping up over time. It was problematic. We've looked at this several times. Jeff and I inspected and cleaned the feed valve, inspected the system. Turned out the Bradle pump drive tubes were delaminating internally, allowing hypo to siphon extra product, the pump to siphon a little bit. So we installed new drive tubes, reset replacement interval at 4 years, because obviously the runtime hours don't work well with some of these things. They were chemically degraded. So we got that dialed in. It appears we got that problem licked. Under the category of creating goodwill for the district with neighboring entities, in mid-June, Everett Wastewater Treatment Facility contacted me regarding an effluent pH control issue. After reviewing the specifics, I suggested a couple options. Forward them contact info for Doug Kelly from IER. He's a chemical supplier. About the end of July, I received a great thank you note for our help and a picture of magnesium hydroxide tanks in place and operating at EWCPF. Former colleague made sure that LSSD and I were acknowledged in more than one facility staff meeting as a tremendous help with their process issue. Everybody wins. Also in mid-June, Alderwood M&O Safety Coordinator Jessica Farrick reached out about our plant PPE practices regarding raw influent in the post-COVID-19 world. I sent her a brief paragraph about what we have enhanced, what PPE we use, and the additional steps our management took in supplying us with disinfection materials, cloth masks, and N95 masks. Ms. Farrick said the information was very helpful and extended Alderwood's warm thanks to LSSD and I for being a good partner. And that's all I got.
Thank you, Casey.
Thank you.
Next is city report. Tanya, we're going to read the comments from Jean.
The only comment was on the decamp facility that they awarded it on Tuesday night to Trinity Construction of Marysville. That's the only thing that he had sent over.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if there was more.
I apologize that he wasn't able to attend.
No problem.
Is there an update that we got relative to the old wastewater treatment plant? We're getting close to September, and that was the date in which we requested, the latest date we requested to either transfer or surplus it in another means.
I have heard nothing, but I'll defer that to the mayor.
Okay.
I don't have an update on that, but let me follow up with you, Kevin.
Okay, appreciate it. Now I know there's a contractor hired a consultant or whatever that was providing. I haven't seen, if they provided a report. I don't think we've seen it from the district standpoint. Not that we even need to. Just need a decision on that one so that we can move on.
Yeah, let me
Kevin.
follow up on it, Kevin.
Okay, appreciate it. Thank you.
I will say, Kevin, that I have spoken to and met with the young lady that the contractor that they hired, and Caitlin was going to take her on tour of the former wastewater treatment plant. But that's probably easily been 2+ months ago. I've not heard anything else. She's not called us back for any other questions.
Okay, and again, I'm agnostic on the process the city wants to use. I just, into September, I want a decision. That's like we talked about. So that's, however, whatever the process is and however we can be helpful, just let us know.
Yeah, I got it.
All right, great. Commissioners report. Anything?
I don't have anything, but
Nothing from Ulrichsen. Okay. I just want to thank the staff again. Great financial report Nikki put together, and all the team that goes into that, and then the supporting staff and making the changes at the, employee level makes a big difference in the overall financials when we get to see them. So I appreciate that. And then other than that, Commissioner Koshy, do you have anything?
No, I'm happy.
All righty. We do have executive session today. How long is that expected to take?
Less than 19 minutes, since I have a meeting with my boss at the top of the hour.
So I did share with Brad that I would anticipate an hour. So Kevin, we'll see.
Okay. All right.
Brad, would you mind doing the executive session preamble? We'll do it for an hour. And so that would put us at about 10:45.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind at all. The commissioners will now recess into executive session. It's anticipated to last an hour, and given a few minutes to get organized, the executive session will conclude at 10:45. The purpose of the executive session is to review the performance of public employees. At the conclusion of the executive session, the commissioners will return to regular session, at which there will not be any action taken, nor will there be any announcement, and the commissioners will adjourn the commission meeting. And that's the executive session announcement.
Thank you. All righty. So, Tara, I believe we can stop recording at this point, please.
This conference will now be recorded.
All right, so coming out of executive session at 10:24, a little bit earlier than we said, and we can conclude the meeting with no action. Thank you.
thank you, everyone.
Everybody.
Okay.